Hello friends, I welcome all my supporters. I was off the air for 2 weeks, so I kindly ask you to promote this video, like it, and share it so that as many people as possible can see it. I promise you one thing, in this video, we will end on a positive note, and I have a very good forecast for 2025, and now we will discuss everything in detail. Even though this is my New Year's video addressed to you, I am deliberately releasing this video exactly half an hour before President Zelensky addresses you or us. I'll even try to predict to some extent everything he will say to you, and you can check me. Exactly 1 year from now, on December 31, 2025, you'll compare who was right and who was wrong. And if you've been watching my channel for at least the past year, you've seen how I wasn't wrong in any of the predictions I made in 2024. That's precisely why you're watching me now. Let me briefly sum up very briefly. 2024, I even wrote it down on a piece of paper for myself. Here are the results of the year, the results of President Zelensky's leadership. Take a look for 2024. It's a bit sad. More people have died. That's a fact. We've lost more territory. That's also a fact. They hiked taxes drastically, hurting business, then handed out 1,000 hryvnias. After that, your wallet is empty. Financial monitoring and the state bank are trying to control everything. They're trying to control every $100 you spend or receive, basically depriving you of the last elements of financial freedom, freedom of financial actions. Look at what's happening on the streets of our country. The territorial recruitment centers and other structures controlled by the Zelensky regime. Yermak, 2024. They're simply terrorizing people. Basically, I don't like to say this, but it's a fact. This was an example of Russian fascism, and they were the ones who played along with Putin's propaganda, who was the first to claim there was fascism in Ukraine. Someone is there working solely to justify everything Russian propaganda has created. Look at how, over the past year, people have been set against each other. Ukrainians against Ukrainians. The legitimacy of one citizen of Ukraine against another citizen of Ukraine. They kept finding more and more differences between us in order to drive a wedge so that we would tear each other apart. Suspects in stack. Donald is Russian. Akomo, I don't know who to talk about. In Moscow, Ukrainian military. Their negativity, this is a conflict, and this is the status of armament. In the country over the past year, over the current year. In fact, you should be disappointed not in Ukraine, but in the Zelensky-Yermak regime. And you shouldn't have any negativity towards Ukraine. I urge everyone to return to Ukraine once the regime falls, the war ends, and the political process is restored. I understand the large percentage of people who have built their lives, who have experienced what it's like to live by the rules of Western civilization, by the laws of Western civilization, in the culture of Western civilization. Many will not want to, but very many are still unsure about something. Many people like me want to, and openly say so, to return home. I urge everyone, if you have even the slightest desire, after the things I mentioned, be sure to return to Ukraine, be sure to return home. Now you'll stop watching me and switch to Zelensky, even if you dislike him just out of curiosity or interest. There will be another high-quality production in the style of Kvartal 95 Studio, where they'll tell you about the powerful successes of 2024, about how many people have found jobs in the defense industry in Ukraine, about the wonderful weapons we've built, laser weapons, and how many munitions we're producing. The enemy will be defeated. There are huge economic successes. Everyone loves us. Everyone supports us. And many, many more pleasant things. But I probably want to disappoint you right away, although I doubt you'll actually be disappointed. You're all doing just fine without me. All of this is just one big total lie. In reality, Zelensky, Yermak, and the whole gang of this regime, these thugs, basically, they were enriching themselves. They were destroying our country from the inside, while Putin is attacking us from the outside, and they are working from within. Look at how the year started. They were introducing that very mobilization law. And look at how this year ended. They've opposed what I support my whole life, but mainly publicly for the past 2 years, since I've only been public for 2.5 years. And for as long as I've been here on YouTube and other social networks, I've supported Donald Trump, and that's why they hate me. I've always told the truth and promoted ideas and libertarianism, not just criticized them. I made concrete proposals for solving problems, and now I'm offering a specific development plan for the future of Ukraine based on freedoms, personal liberty, economic freedoms, and all the freedoms a person can possibly experience. For this regime sent the security service of Ukraine. They detained my mother and put her under nighttime house arrest. They opened a criminal case for justifying Russian aggression. She posted my videos of herself on social media. That's how far this regime has gone. Also, congrats to you. Exactly a year ago, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't imagine they would stoop this low, but they did. And as I said earlier, don't associate this with the country of Ukraine. There are two people responsible for all this lawlessness: Volodymyr Zelensky and Andriy Yermak. We're at a point where Ukrainians are more interested in the United States presidential elections. They were giving us this kind of reception, avoiding us. They avoided visits, apparently, to the Zadlenov Fund instead of going to the Russian ones, so that people would be angry at Ukraine, even offended, you could say, at Ukraine. Everyone could have stayed in the country and worked, call it for victory if you want, working for themselves and for Ukraine, as these are always parallel and inseparable processes. Over 10 million people left Ukraine legally, and over 1 million left illegally, according to various sources. But at this point, I want to move on to something positive. I assure you that 2025 will be a year of significant changes, and the war in Ukraine will end. This is what matters most to everyone. People will stop dying and elections will happen in Ukraine. But I want to ask and warn you about something. Set yourself a small challenge. Just stop listening to liars. Stop listening to parasites from the information space. And maybe many of you simply don't understand them. A very small percentage of them serve the oligarchs, whom I have nothing against, and many more of them work for the special services. Some work for the oligarchs on even days and for special services on odd days. It is exactly these people who come out and at the end of the year give you hope that the war will end on December 30th. For example, you end up with another neurosis and you sit there waiting, but you've just been deceived once again. Once again, they don't treat you like people and don't care about you. Don't worry about your nerves or your life. I'm not asking you to support me. Just use common sense and set your own mindset. That 2025 should become a year of national reconciliation and the restoration of the democratic Ukraine that we remember. And even better, if the country has freedom and democracy, then we can make Ukraine even much better than it was before Putin's full-scale invasion. If you want to know the truth, if you want to see the light at the end of the tunnel, how can Ukraine develop? With clear proposals and concrete plans, subscribe to my channel now. In 2025, many dictators will fall, and God willing, this will begin at the very start of the year. And Zelensky should go. That's the main slogan for next year. Zelensky should go. Happy New Year, friends. I wish you above all good health for Ukraine. I wish for democracy, and if we have health, there will be democracy in Ukraine. For the first time in history, Ukraine can truly become a great, prosperous nation where people are happy. Happy New Year.